These things help you grow your career, that the bosses have bosses too, what have you. It's a whole team effort, and many organizations work in a team environment. I am Nicolette Barrett. I am the founder, CEO, and Chief Career Development Strategist of irock Development Solutions, LLC, doing business as irock Resumes. So I am here to help you guys move your career forward. If you've ever thought about, okay, what should I do? How should I go about it? I am the person that can help you out. What I have done down through the years is help many of my clients move their careers forward, either by resume writing, career development, interview prep, or what have you. And some of my clients have increased their salaries by as much as 30%. Yes, 30%. And that's because it's all about how do you present yourself. What I'm going to talk about today, of course, I did part 1, and I've done also part 2. Today is part 3. Now, as a boss, well, I don't really call myself a boss. I call myself a leader. But in corporate America, there are a lot of things that employees don't think about. I get asked questions a lot as a leader. You know, what should I be doing? What should I be looking out for? I have a desire to go to the next step, go to this next opportunity. What do I need to grow? What do I need to develop myself? And yes, I give that in a mentoring session, coaching session with my direct reports, and just in friends in general. I'm always giving advice on what they need to do. But sometimes there are those things that are kind of underlying that we don't really think about that can hinder us and or delay us or even take us out of the running at all for any kind of opportunity. And there's things that your boss notices about you that sometimes we don't really notice about ourselves or even really think about it or think it's not a really big deal. But it can be a big deal because it goes to your brand. It speaks to your brand. What are you doing to improve yourself? So here's my next 3 things that I'm going to talk to you guys about on how you can raise your brand in the workplace and especially in the eyes of your boss. Now I'm on number 7, how you manage your time. Yes, how do you manage your time when you get there on the clock? Okay, are you always at the office late while your peers go home? Do you take work home? Also, is it the workload? Is it because you have not really sat down and strategized how you will attack your workload? Have you even thought about how can you do better with your workload? Or have you not even put in a full day of work? Sometimes instead of working a full day, your 8 hours, you come in and you really only truly work 5 of those hours, maybe 6. I've seen as little as 3 or 4. That's your full work day. So what are you doing? Or are you just coming to work just to hang out and actually not do the work? So how you manage your time so that you're producing and you're being productive your whole entire day that you're there. No, I'm not saying that you have to work every single minute where you're not taking a break or what have you, but are you being productive while you are at work so you can move the work through and not cause yourself any stress? So what I found is that people have a lot of self-inflicted stress. And it's not to downplay that I know employers are asking us to do more with less. I understand that. But what are you doing to contribute to your own stress? Are you wasting time and not producing results? Because if you're just wasting time and not producing results and getting your work through, then how do you expect to reduce your stress level? So you have to be really cognizant of your day. When you get in, how do you strategize yourself and set yourself up for success for the day? So when you leave for the day, you can feel good about what you have accomplished and even have a plan for the next day on what you're going to accomplish. People who are very organized with their time, I shouldn't say very organized, but just organized, because some people are organized. You don't have to be a super geek in organization, but very organized in how you get your work done. Your manager notices that. They know what your contributions are. And that can go a long way, especially when you're discussing, when we're in a room discussing opportunities, promotions, raises, or what have you. And it is end of the year, and it is time for raise time, right? What have you done all year? How have you managed your time so you can show yourself to be productive? And if you haven't, then you have to figure out, okay, now I'm going into 2019, what can I do? And guess what? That can be part of your vision board. Yep, join me in Beaumont, Beaumont, Texas, or join me here in Dallas for work. So you can get that all together. So if you, and then when you're thinking about the employer, because is it fair for the employer to pay overtime, and also overtime for people who are not really maximizing the day at all? So it's almost like, okay, yeah, you're going to pay me overtime. I'm going to come in here and do 8 hours work, but I'm going to get paid for 10 or 12. It's not really fair to the employer. And if your employer is in a service-based business where they're servicing customers, it's not fair to the customer. So the customer is paying premiums or whatever they're paying for, whatever, or the prices for the products, but the employees are not really producing and getting the work done. So we have to be cognizant on how are we going to get our work done. Strategize it. Now, if you have problems or challenges with time management and organizing yourself, there's tons of resources that you can get help. One of the places you can go to is lynda.com and choose classes. Also, let me see, Udemy, udemy.com. You can go there and also take a course on time management. Some employers offer courses inside the organization. Look up time management courses and take those. And if you have worked with someone who's very good with organizing their work and actually producing their work where they do have time to help others, maybe ask them for some tips on how you can improve your productivity so that your work can go through. So it's about what actions are you taking to manage your time to be one of the best producers there is. Not necessarily the top-notch producer, but a producer making the most of your time while you're there. When you're there, give your employer the best and also give your manager the best that you have to give so everybody can look well. So that's on number 7 things that your boss notice about you, whether or not you can manage your time. Number 8, how well do you follow instructions and directions? Okay, so if there is an opportunity for, say, okay, listen group or listen employee, this is what I need you to do in order to do this work correctly. Now, if it's said and it's also not, and then it's not done, are you really following instructions? Are you retaining the information? Are you engaged enough to even really care? So it's like, okay, if you're not following directions and actually implementing the coaching, the training or whatever, or even just directions on the work, then it seems like, okay, do they really care about the work at hand? If your boss gives you feedback and coaching to assist you improving your work performance, and you heed just for a moment, only to return to the same habits, believe me, that can be a problem, because you don't want your boss to always have to tell you the same stuff over and over and over again. You tell me something one time on something I need to get corrected in my work product or my behavior or what have you, I'm going to correct it right like that, because guess what? I don't like nobody coming to tell me to do something again and again and again. So I'm going to get it right as soon as I possibly can. And if I need help, I'm going to seek out a resource so that I can get the assistance that I need so I can make sure I'm doing what my boss is asking me to do. And I encourage you to do the same thing. So the same goes for not meeting expectations. At the beginning of the year, which is about to happen, expectation settings always happen. But what a lot of people do when they get the expectation setting, they hear it in January. By the time March comes, they forget about it. We don't want you to do that. We want you to be engaged in the information that we're asking you so that you can implement it all through the year and check yourself. So now we're not at the end of the year saying, oh, I forgot about that. I forgot you asked me about that. It's your responsibility as an employee, as a direct report, to make sure that you're heeding to the information, that you're heeding to the work instructions, that you're heeding to the direction that your boss is giving you, because guess what? That boss has a boss, has a boss, has a boss. And that's what people fail to remember, that the bosses have bosses too, and there's a reporting hierarchy, unless you happen to be the CEO. But if not, then that's what we have to do. We have to make sure that we're giving the information and getting the information so that we can do our best. So if you desire to be successful in your role, follow the instructions and expectations that are set before you and refer to them often so you stay on track of achieving the results that are expected of you. When you do this, you will excel in your role, and you will excel in you not only will you excel in your role, your team will excel, your boss will excel, and the department will excel. And when you're excelling in that manner, guess what? You'll look favorably upon by not only your boss, but your boss's boss, and your boss's boss's boss, and so on and so on. And also you can be regarded, even with your peers will be interested in how are you doing that? And then you become a resource and someone that's looked upon and called upon all the time, and also even be a mentor. How cool is that? Because that's something that you can utilize to build your resume. That's something that you can build your LinkedIn profile. That's something that you can use as far as examples are concerned in a natural interview. These things help you grow your career, move your career forward, and also allow you to be seen as a professional in the workplace. So that's number 8. How well do you follow instructions and directions? Your boss notices that about you. And number 9, if you are coachable. Sometimes people are just not coachable. No matter how many times or feedback or what have you, do you resist it? Do you take offense to it? Do you become, I guess, defensive, argumentative, or are you open to getting the feedback? Because a lot of times, if done properly, it's only to help you grow. It's not to say bad person, you did something wrong, you're doing this, you're doing that. If you have that kind of situation, then you may need to go ahead and seek help outside of that, because that is an adversarial situation. But a natural leader is always looking to improve the employee, to help the employee do better in their role and develop them holistically. That's what a true leader does in a natural corporate setting, business setting, or what have you. The goal is, because when the employee does better, the boss does better, and everybody else around. Because if the whole goal is to make the team better, the department better, the organization or what have you better. It's not to say that you're doing anything, but if you're not open to the coaching, open to the feedback, and you become defensive, or you walk out and then you're talking about it, you're mumbling about it at your desk, you're complaining about to everybody else, and even sometimes in some environments, just because a boss actually coaches an employee, they'll call HR department on you just because you're trying to help them. I mean, come on now. And your boss will notice that, because if you're not willing to receive the feedback, how can any good leader put their mouth on you for you to go forward if you're not allowing yourself to receive the feedback? How can I support? How can I undergird? How can I uplift if you're not willing to receive the feedback so you can be better? So you end up staying where you are in the same place. And here's the thing, guys. If you are not attempting to grow and you're seeing everybody as an adversary and everybody is wrong, but you're the only person that's right, no matter, and it's not necessarily the company, because everywhere you go, there you will be. Isn't that a Dr. Seuss thing? No matter where you go, there you are still. So you're still going to take yourself, your brand, your personal self to another organization. So what do you do to get yourself together? So noticing whether or not you are coachable is very, very important, because if you are receiving the coaching and feedback to do better, then you're going to receive it from someone else. And then you're going to be able to not only receive it, then when you become a leader, get in leadership, if that's your desire, then you will be able to give coaching feedback as well, and then notice about your employee. So many times, let me see, if you're coachable. So, okay, yeah, this is it. So many times taking on the mindset of I'll do it my way, no matter what, can show up in your work and in your attitude. So when you have this mindset, your boss will get the impression that you either don't want the coaching, or you don't take coaching well, or you simply don't care. That's just the bottom line truth. So having to tell employees several times to do or not to do something can become draining on the actual manager, because that's an issue. It's already enough to have to do the work at hand, but then to deal with personality issues, that's a whole nother level that your boss shouldn't have to deal with in a professional setting. So why would your boss want to pass that drain on to someone else to have to deal with? The coaching is feedback on what can be done better for the overall goal of not only yourself, the team, but also the operation, company, organization, whatever you want to call it. It's not an attack on anyone personally. It's never an attack. And if you feel like you're being attacked, then that's another issue. But any good leader, like I said, is not there to attack, but to help. So it's just a way of trying to get the job done, as the boss oftentimes, again, has a boss. So take the feedback and see it as a growth opportunity and not an attack opportunity or an attack on you personally. Develop from it and take the feedback and work with it so you can grow. That's the thing. That's all that a boss, leader, whatever you want to call it, the manager, supervisor, they're wanting you to grow, because when you grow, the organization grows, the team grows, what have you. It's a whole team effort, and many organizations work in a team environment. So it's only to better you. And again, that can only help you get to the next level, build your resume, build your experience, have those experiences that you can speak to in an actual interview. So I want you to think about all of those things so that you will be able to have an opportunity. So number 7, again, how your boss notices about you. Number 7, how you manage your time. That's what they're noticing. How do you manage your time? So if you struggle with time management, there are tons of resources out there to assist you. So take a time management course. Number 8, how well do you follow instructions and directions? So think about this, is meeting and exceeding expectations by following instructions is not really hard to do. Just make up your mind that you will do it, and then success will be waiting on you, okay? Number 9, if you are coachable. So think about it. Take the feedback and implement the things your boss is asking you to do. If the direction does not produce the results that you desire, take it to your boss and say, hey, what can I do? But make sure to take a recommendation on what you can do differently. Not just ask the boss to just solve your problems. Come with a recommendation. Show that you're engaged. It's a partnership. Be engaged with your boss. Also, this will show that the competencies of partnership and critical thinking. And it will also score high in the success book in your boss's eyes. How do you critically think through things? It's very important that you understand these little things that can derail your career, derail your raise, derail your opportunity, and really derail your brand if you're not cognizant of these little small things. It's not about getting that degree, that next degree, getting that certification, getting that designation, or having all of these development opportunities. It's those little things that unspoken that people don't really talk about and think about. So I'm bringing them to your attention so you can kind of monitor how you are in the workplace, because it is still a workplace. Yes, we're around them a long time, but you're still in the workplace. So I want you to be as successful as you possibly can. Thank you all so much and have a wonderful evening. Bye.